Hey, Anand here, and good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever in the world you might be. In this video, we're going to talk about what is that one secret that every single Facebook ads expert, guru, influencer knows and does, but never talks about. So, of course, we've all heard about choosing the right creative and understanding your audience and doing research, and it's about the data and all of these different truisms that for sure are a necessary part of advertising. But I found it strange from having studied from some of the top people in the industry, such as Tim Bird or Kat Howell, Neil Patel, John Loomer. Who else is there that's really made an impact on me? I'd say just so many leaders and winners that have made an impact in this industry. The thing that I still haven't heard people talk about is the one skill to how do you decide the best audiences? How do you know what is good targeting or good creative? Whenever you're setting up a message or you're setting up an angle or an offer, how is it that you determine what's going to work? And the secret to that is critical thinking. So the ability to be able to not just process information and understand your customer as well as the resources available within the Facebook ads platform, though also to be able to create what's needed and to choose the right things to be able to make the biggest impact in your business. Now I'm going to be looking at my notes here because I'm still getting started as a YouTuber, though I've been running Facebook ads for many years now, so I apologize if you see me looking left and right. I'm sure that a couple months from now I won't need to be doing that. But there's a few things that I wanted to break down that you can take and apply instantly into your business to make better decisions in your marketing so you can make more money like the experts. And the first thing is when it comes down to any marketing strategy, plan, or idea is that any idea means nothing without the proper execution. So what that means is knowing how, when, where to deliver your idea. So if that's going to be, a certain angle that you want to take a product, being able to know, well, what kind of creative is going to go behind that? What kind of a headline is going to capture attention? What kind of style, vibe, music, font, I don't know, whatever variables go into it, being able to think critically about why are you doing what you're doing. And then on top of that, it's going to be a matter of not just the execution of your marketing, but what is the overall marketing plan? So this is everything that goes into not just running your campaigns, but strategizing them, knowing how much budget do you have available, what are your metrics and your KPI targets or the goals that you're setting to know if you're succeeding or failing. Who's going to be involved doing what? How will you judge their success? These are things that, while yes, we could sit around all day and list them out, the one crucial skill that I find is what is consistently practiced by the experts is the ability to think critically. And the way that I find that this can most effectively work is when making a decision or when looking at something inside of Facebook ads. There's a very simple formula that I've found so many other people use, and I've started to adopt it in my own life, and I've found significant results. And that is asking myself why, and then why not. So take a look at whatever it is you're looking at. Maybe we're talking about an email marketing campaign, and we're looking to decide within this email campaign, do we want to offer this one kind of discount, or do we want to do a different kind of discount? Maybe we want to do 15% or we want to do $15 off. Well, we need to think about our customers for that. And if we just simply ask ourselves, okay, well, why would we do the 15%? Why would we not do the 15%? And then the same thing for the dollars. That's one strategy that very quickly allows you to be able to process whether or not a decision is good or not. So let's just take another example. Coming up with an angle or an offer or some kind of a funnel structure. Well, of course, once you put it into the live market, things are going to be a little bit different. Though you're going to get a ton of data. So if you're running a campaign on Facebook, you might have one variation that has super duper high click-through rates, but not a whole lot of sales. Maybe you have another campaign that's got a good number of sales, but not a very high click-through rate. And you have to decide which one do you scale up? Which one do you put more budget in, or do you not? So where I see a lot of missing pieces, and a lot of businesses struggle, is they sit there and stare at those two and think to themselves, well, which one is it? Which one do I do? And then they look for a Facebook advertiser or a marketer or a consultant or somebody to tell them what to do. And those marketers tell them what to do, but they don't tell them how to be able to apply that in their own businesses. That's what I want to share with you here today, is to be able to practice the skill set of when you're faced with two decisions like that, cultivate the habit of being able to really ask yourself and process, okay, well, what am I trying to do? How much budget do I have? What timeline is this going? Am I looking to get results in? And what is a reasonable expectation of my results based on the data given to me? Because then whenever you're looking at those two results, you can ask yourself, okay, well, I'm getting high click-through rates here. That means we're getting a ton of traffic, but they're not yet buying. Well, let's see, who is it that's clicking on the ad? Maybe the demographics are different. Perhaps the age ranges or the part of the country a person is in, or maybe the placement even is different. Maybe dive deeper and see what the difference is between the click-through rate and the high converting one is. And then the best thing would be is to look at your ad and to just ask yourself, well, what would make these people click versus making these people buy but not click? And then take the best of both worlds. That process, that critical thinking, that's what's really going to make the difference between a super duper high quality Facebook advertiser and one that is probably going to be frustrating, require a lot of micromanagement, and quite frankly, waste your time. You know, another thing that comes in when it comes down to, I guess, looking at what is it that you want to be looking for in a quality media buyer, in a Facebook advertiser, is, you know, maybe it's something that you see a certain opportunity in your market. You see a product that you want to sell, and you're looking for counsel on how to put that into Facebook. Well, a way that you'd be able to ease that process is think critically about what does success look like for you. So you might say, well, I want sales, I want to make revenue, I want to make profits. Okay, of course, that's the end goal of everybody. Though think about, well, you know your customer, what is it that makes them buy? What makes them not buy? And then share that with your media buyer, share that with your advertiser, make sure that they know exactly what is causing the success and what causes the failure. And if you guys don't know yet, then put up some strategy, start brainstorming, do your initial research first to determine what that is. Because ultimately, that's going to be a huge part of what's going to help you succeed or fail. And then the last part, like when it comes down to what is really going into critical thinking and being able to develop that, is to take away just for a moment all the confusing pieces of Facebook advertising, all the different audience options and the different optimization options and the millions of ways that you could set up an offer or an angle. And to go back to the basics, which is, who is your customer? What do they look like? What is it that you're selling? And then think about the difference of what is it that they're buying. So as an example, if somebody is at the gas station and they're about to start a road trip, they're grabbing some candy and some snacks, and they see a map that's right next to the register. Well, of course, that gas station is selling a map. They're selling a tool to be able to get from point A to point B. Though that person, they might be going on a road trip that'll take them through the mountains. And what they're buying is a risk mitigation of not getting lost. So while the gas station is selling a map, the person is actually buying security, and that if they were to get lost, they can find their way back home. So think about that difference of perspective of what are you selling and what are you buying when it comes to your product or service. Because you'll often find that there's a difference. You'll often find that your competitors, they're selling the product or service. They're talking about the features, maybe going so far into the benefits, but they're not thinking about the specific person that they're going after. On the other hand, the great advertisers, the great marketers, they're looking at why are people buying this? And then they're starting and crafting everything up, and they're thinking critically and really refining every aspect of that campaign, making sure that the copy is spoken in a language that is consistent with how their customer avatar thinks. They're making sure that the creative is something that would be engaging and interesting and valuable and useful for that market. And then they're making sure that there's congruency, that the way the landing page is set up is similar to the way the ads are set up. So that way, people feel comfortable that when they click on an ad, the value that they're looking for is actually going to be found in that landing page. So if you can start and from the basic, I'll make a separate video about the details and all the fancy, awesome little techniques and tricks and tips that you can use to be able to crush it once you have this stuff. Though before you could or should get into any of that stuff, start from the basics. Develop a skill set of critical thinking. Do some research on the stages of thinking and the stages of knowledge, understanding how deeply do you understand your product and your customer. Because the better you get a correlation between these two things, the more successful you'll be able to be on Facebook. And that's the experience that I found, and that's what I've seen across the board from having an opportunity to work with multi-million-dollar brands and hundreds of companies all over the world. When it comes to advertising, when it comes to marketing, this can be a very fun business. And a big reason for that is because it always changes. There's always something new. There's always a new perspective. There's always a new angle or a new way to try something, and then just wait a couple months. Now there's going to be new technologies to play with. Yet the thing that's consistent across the entire board, from people who were marketing back in the 1960s all the way to people marketing right now today, is developing the skill set of critical thinking, to be able to look deep into your resources of what you have, whether that is your photography and videography, your website, your ads themselves, the funnel structure, whatever it is you're doing, ask yourself, are you thinking critically about these items, and by what perspective? The perspective I suggest is that of your customer. What are they buying versus what are you selling? Use that filter across everything that you're doing, and I'm confident you'll succeed. If you find value in this video, drop a comment under. I'd love to hear your perspective. Slap that subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you like more content like this so the algorithm knows that you're interested. I'm Houston, and until next time, bye for now.